There is a plethora of words I could use to describe the Chicago Bulls, starting with things like bad, not good, trash, and some may even say stinky poo-poo.
This is a bag of my feces. That's right,
Michelle,
honey.
come on.
It is enough for you.
That's not right.
But really, what is the problem with the Bulls? Because you look at them on paper, they have 3 borderline all-star talents, and they should be good, except they've been god-awful for the past 3 seasons and been underachieving ever since they traded for Nikola Vucevic. Right now, the Bulls have double the amount of losses as they have wins. They sit at 7-14, and they're 13th in the East, only ahead of the 2 worst teams in the NBA, the Pistons and the Wizards, who obviously are rebuilding teams that no one expected to be good. Danny, I don't know what the Bulls see in this Chicago Bulls team to the fact that they would re-sign Nikola Vucevic for 3 years this offseason at $60 million. I just don't get it.
Listen, before we even knew what would happen this season, me and you kind of just like looked at that, and I think I called you right away and just said, "What the fuck?"
We both had the exact same reactions.
It's horrible, dude. They're bottom 5 in every major stat category per game. Vooch hasn't had a game. He's been struggling to score 10 points for a offensive-minded center. He's been struggling to score 10 points over the past 5 games. He's only went over 10 once, and that was a 29-point game against the Bucks.
Yeah, and
like
this is a guy who's supposed to be an offensive center we're talking about, and we always know how awful his defense is. Like, legitimately watching Nikola Vucevic on defense it's comedic. He has essentially cinder blocks for feet, dude. Like, he can't move laterally. He doesn't try to contest anything. It's just embarrassing watching an NBA player get paid this much money to try that little on defense.
Well, listen, the thing that it's like terrible to watch, and they're 22nd in defensive rating last year. They are not a good defensive team this year at all, and Vooch is not going to help that in the slightest. They paid 3 years, $60 million for a 33-year-old center on his way out. They're going to be paying Nikola Vucevic $20 million when he's 36 years old. That is the epitome of a terrible NBA organization.
What kind of thought process went on when they were decided to give this out to Vooch? I just don't even get it. What did they see on the court the past 2 years since they got him that they were like, hey, we're gonna give this guy $60 million because that seems like the logical thing to do in this situation.
There's absolutely no reason. There's no reason at all. They just did it just to do it. I don't know if they thought that they would have a different result than the past few years that they had Vooch. No, it's not. It's not a different result. It's only gotten worse as their players have gotten older, and now there's this whole drama going on since the Bulls suck with this Zach LaVine drama. This Zach LaVine drama, who is on pace to shoot one of his worst percentages of his career, and apparently there's no market at all for him right now. The Bulls basically said, "Oh, Nikola Vucevic, can you sign this paper and just fuck us for the next 3 years?" That's exactly what happened.
No.
That's how it was.
I mean, yeah, you look at Vucevic's poor defensive effort on the court, and then you can look at Zach LaVine, who's not putting in any effort at all, is sitting on the bench whining as if he's entitled to something. This guy has been in the league for for 10 seasons now. This is his 10th NBA season, and he's made the playoffs once. Excuse me, Zach LaVine, what are you entitled to exactly? You're not a winning player. You don't do anything on the court except for score the basketball. You're a ball hog. You add nothing on defense. You're not a good playmaker. You don't try to rebound the ball. And Zach LaVine hasn't gotten better at all in the past, 5 years? He was on the up and ups coming up as a young player, and he made a few All-Star games, and then he got complacent. He hasn't gotten better at anything over the past few seasons, and I just don't see any reason how Zach LaVine, of all people, thinks he's entitled to this kind of treatment. I get that the Bulls have been a major problem, and it's not gone the way he probably wanted for his career, but Zach LaVine has to take some responsibility here, Danny. This is not all, he's not free of all responsibility from this. He is part of the problem.
Exactly. He's their second, he's arguably, 1A, 1B between him and DeRozan, I guess, but
yeah.
Either way, if you're in the, star tier of your team, you have to be held accountable for how horrible your team is, and the Bulls have done nothing but look horrible. And Zach LaVine is taking no responsibility, like you said, and he's acting like he's not the problem. And he obviously is the problem, or else he would have a trade market, and it would make the Bulls able to move him. But the Bulls are going to be stuck with his ass until 25-26, because no team is going to want to trade for him. No team is going to want to take on that money. And by the time that his contract is up, he has a player option in 2025. Once that player option's up, he's going to go hunting for more money in free agency, and he's not going to get it.
He's not going to get the money he's making right now, that's for sure. And looking at LaVine, if he wants to get out of there, the best thing he could do for himself and his team is just play better. He's not playing well. Play better, then teams will want you. Stop complaining, then teams will want you. It's like James Harden. No one wanted to trade for James Harden because he was a malcontent, except for Zach LaVine isn't a multiple-time MVP, sorry, because I forgot Harden's been robbed. But James Harden is a multiple-time All-Star, an All-NBA player, a perennial All-NBA player and an All-Star. Zach LaVine is a two-time NBA All-Star who has done really nothing in his career. No legitimate accolades. What does he have? 2 slam dunk champions? Like, good for him.
Zach LaVine, he won a dunk contest.
He won a dunk contest. Like, cool. Now you can go whine on the bench and cry about how bad your team is, even though you're partly at fault. Since Lonzo went down, this team has been a complete and utter mess, and I just don't see anything even close to getting resolved until DeRozan's gone, LaVine is gone, and Vucevic are gone.
This video is more to just touch on, what's been happening with the Bulls. It's not going to be 100% about bashing the Bulls. They do have 2 bright spots, I guess you can call them, in their little fire that they have going on. Patrick Williams is a third-year player. He has looked very solid defensively, and he's actually increased his efficiency offensively as well. In his last 5, he's averaging 14.5, a steal and a block. And another guy who is looking like just a straight flamethrower off the bench is Kobe White. Over his last 10 games, he's been averaging 17.5, 4 and 3.5, shooting 47% from 3, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Kobe's play. This is the best Kobe we've seen Kobe play since his second year, and I think that we're getting some of those. They just re-signed him this offseason. There's a bit of a glimpse of Kobe's potential stardom coming back. Shooting over 40% from 3 on 7 attempts per game is no easy feat, so he's legitimately got a shot. And we saw, again, glimpses of that before, but now that he's been getting more on-court touches and more consistent playing time, especially since LaVine has been out, him and Williams have both, you can see how much they've improved and how much better they are on the floor without Zach LaVine. I don't want to keep making it out to be like LaVine is the only issue, but I'm just saying that it's very hard to develop these 2 players who could potentially be the brightest spots on your team when you have guys like LaVine, DeRozan, and Vucevic taking away literally all of the touches from them. So now seeing Kobe White get back into the swing of things has been nice, but now I'd like to see the Bulls finally just blow it up and admit that this roster was a complete and utter failure. And we can start at the top, too. This is the last thing I want to say. Billy Donovan is not a good NBA coach. He's just not. He sucks.
He's terrible. He sucks. Dude, we made a video, I know you remember the head coaching tiers video, where we had Billy Donovan ranked as the first to lose their job this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a report come out last week saying that Billy Donovan's job is safe. What?
It's
Why?
Stop. It makes as much sense as signing Nikola Vucevic to a 3-year, $60 million extension. They're a very competent.
The Bulls.
They're a very competent organization. They know what they're doing. It's clearly as their record shows it. The funny thing is too,
what they were doing
this all could have worked out if Lonzo stayed healthy, which sucks. But I think they're so stuck on living in the reality that Lonzo's going to come back eventually, and I think they just need to, sell what they have while they have anything to sell. Because if they all just leave eventually, then it's just done. DeRozan's contract is up after this year. LaVine is going to be a malcontent, and then you're going to be stuck with just Nikola Vucevic, who has 2 more years in his deal left after this year. I don't know what the right answer is for the Bulls, but they need to blow it up now. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I just wanted to talk about how really awful the Bulls are because it pains me to see as a fan of good basketball. The Bulls just have an awful roster construction. There's no accountability anywhere, and it's clear there needs to be a lot of changes made in a short amount of time. If you guys did like, though, make sure to comment and subscribe, hit that like button, and check out all of our other socials in the links in the description. As always, I'm Nate, this is Danny, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.